Where is Hastur on the power scale? Pretty darn high. A lot of people, when they talk about Lovecraft entities, the first one they go to is Cthulhu, and they don't realize Cthulhu is one of the weaker ones. Compared to humans, Cthulhu is a god. Compared to Cthulhu, Hastur is a god. Fun fact, they're actually half-brothers, both children of Yog-Sothoth, and they hate each other. And here's another fun fact about the Lovecraft universe. Like I said, compared to Cthulhu, he is a god. Yog-Sothoth is a god compared to him. The Lovecraft power scale is insane. But let's talk about what his abilities are. He has probability manipulation, that's one of them. That means if something's extremely unlikely and he wants it to happen, he can just, by sheer force of will, just make it happen. He can make you win the lottery 150 times in a row. He could have you struck by lightning 117 times in the same instant. All of this from outside of our reality. He doesn't need to be there to do this stuff. He also has very high-level reality manipulation, as well as very powerful mind control. And I looked up his power set just to refresh myself, and it said Cosmic Telekinesis. I'm not really sure what that means, but it seems to me like that means he could probably manipulate an entire universe with telekinesis, and that's insane. The funny thing about the power scale in Lovecraft is a lot of people like to just jump to Cthulhu like, could it defeat Cthulhu? When in fact Cthulhu is one of the weakest entities in the Lovecraft universe. I know that's kind of hard to believe, but hear me out. Compared to Cthulhu, Hastur is a god. Like, the way we look at gods is how Cthulhu would look at Hastur. Yog-Sothoth, how we look at God would be how Hastur looks at Yog-Sothoth. The power scale is immense. Now Hastur is somewhere towards the top of the Great Old One list. That's again what Cthulhu is. Just barely on the verge of being an outer god. So to address what people keep asking me, he could defeat it. Probably fairly easily. There's a reason his name is one of the ones that they don't speak. Now where else has he appeared? He's appeared in Stephen King. He's basically, the Crimson King is basically him. Which is funny because in the SCP universe, he's also the Hanged King. And the Scarlet King is the Crimson King from the Stephen King universe, so he became two different horrific things. So yeah, in short, he is immensely powerful and fits at a very high place in the power scale. If you want to know more about Lovecraft beings, we have an entire episode on Lovecraft entities coming up on the podcast at 1 p.m. today. The podcast is called Liminal Radio, and it is in my link tree. Basically what we did was like a mini iceberg, one we made ourselves. It's pretty interesting. Vae Victis, save awesome, beware the yellow sign. That thing, that's the yellow sign.